be like, if this is what I have to do, this is what I have to do. Sometimes you just kind of have to, you know, throw the cards up. Is that the saying?
Yeah,
Throw the cards up.
Throw the cards up and
let
the cards fall.
And let the cards fall. Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. I asked my Instagram followers on my endometriosis page what they wanted to hear about relationships and endometriosis. I came up with questions myself that kind of have to do with like my journey and his perspective on it, because I know like if you have endometriosis, you probably can agree it can be uncomfortable for other people and yourself because you don't know how they're viewing it, you don't know their perspective. You can probably feel insecure at times, which I have. So I think it's really important to like, you know, get their side of things and talk about it so that we feel more comfortable too with the disease. Again, just a disclaimer, although, you know, if you're watching this and you have endometriosis, we all experience it very differently with our symptoms. So if there's things that I don't ask or things that you might not hear that relate to you, it's probably because I don't go through it. And, you know, it's just important to keep that in mind because I don't know, so I can't talk about it. So, but yeah, so I guess let's just get started.
Kind of nervous.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay, so when I was first having symptoms, I told you something wasn't right. What were your thoughts? Endo is known to be an invisible illness, so what was your take?
Like, I assumed there was something wrong, but you weren't in pain. So it's weird because like when somebody says there's something wrong, like it could be like a plethora of things, and especially when they're not in pain, then it's like, well, she's not in pain, so like what kind of feeling is she actually feeling right now?
So a bit of a disclaimer before we get into this, because a lot of people with endometriosis have excruciating pain. I've heard stories where girls are in and out of the ER for years before they even know they have endometriosis. I do not experience that, but I do have stage 4 endometriosis, and by the words of my doctor, it's everywhere. I experienced weird symptoms that I'll probably get into in another video. Yeah. So when he says I don't experience pain, that's what he means, because obviously I'm sure for women who really do have excruciating pain, it's obvious you're experiencing pain. I don't, but there were very weird, odd symptoms I was experiencing that had me in and out of the doctors for about 1.5 years.
I think one of the things that I remember most is you always telling me how you were exhausted. Like, it would make you feel exhausted, and you wouldn't be tired. You would always say, I'm not like tired, but I'm just exhausted. And like that was just like weird to me, and I think that was the most relatable like symptom that like I had, because I felt that way before like a few times too. Yeah. So based upon your symptoms, I didn't take it as serious as you probably did.
Yeah. So when you found out I had stage 4 endometriosis, what were your thoughts? Just on a blank sheet of paper, what would you write down? Not knowing anything about the disease, but knowing I had it.
Well, you were talking about before you had like your surgery, like it could be like endometriosis, but it could be this. So you're naming a bunch of things it could have been.
Because my doctor said
yes. So I didn't look into like endometriosis. I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna see like what it is from like this. And then you told me it was stage 4 endometriosis, and the way you made it sound was this is like the worst like possible case.
Which is.
So I was like, so honestly, like my first thought was, what the hell is endometriosis? Yeah. So I like looked it up, and I like saw like symptoms, and it said like pain, like bloating, and like obviously like. That's
good you bring that up though, because even for us, when we find out we have endo, you really still don't get direct answers. Yeah. You really have to thoroughly research. Yeah, talk to as many people as you can to really understand.
Yeah, even when I looked it up, like it was very broad, like things. Like it's like roads that you could go down for just one like little thing about it. So it's just very broad like disease. Yeah. And I saw like fertility like issues, like having kids and stuff like that. So that's why I know you, and like you, until I knew like that's why like it really like was probably making you upset for like that like. But I'm sure that's probably.
Yeah, the mental toll. I think getting diagnosed is one thing because you're relieved that you know what's wrong with you, but then there's a mental toll for sure that I went through, knowing what does this mean for the rest of my life. Yeah. You know?
And that mental toll can be different for everybody. It just depends on how you want to like live your life, you know?
It depends on what you want in life. Like, I've always wanted to be a young mom, but I'm doing things first before I become a mom, such as finish college and get married. So that alone stressed me out because I'm 23, I'm going to be 24 this year, and I felt, but is my time ticking? Can I wait until I graduate college? But that does bring me on to my next question, which is, given that we want to get married and start a family, did me finding out I have endometriosis spark any fears or uncertainties for you and like our future together?
I mean, obviously the biggest fear is like you like having trouble having kids. And I didn't like initially I wasn't like worried about it, but then after you explained it to me and after you gave me like the rundown of what endometriosis stage 4, like what you have actually is, then like yeah, like I started taking it more seriously. I don't know if it's a fear because I have hope and like and you're a very hopeful person. Obviously, like if you were upset and you were like scared, it would probably make me like scared.
Yeah.
Or like give me fears, but you're like so positive about it and like so hopeful that it makes me that way. So I'm not worried about like the future like of it. I think like you're gonna like, because you're doing all the right things and like you found like a good doctor and like you're reading about it, you're doing all your research, so I think that you're handling it the best way anybody possibly could. So that gives me like some reassurance on the future.
Yeah, well, I think you helped me a lot too in having hope and being positive, because I remember, I think it was like 2 days after my surgery, the medicine started to wear off and I was like, oh my gosh, I have stage 4 endometriosis. And I remember calling you, just bawling my eyes out, like it just hit me. And I was like, you do realize this is gonna affect us in having kids, right? Just kind of like jumping to conclusion, like I'm gonna have fertility issues, which is not always true. There's just a higher possibility. And I just remember you being like, why, there's no reason to cry about that right now. Like there's no reason to be negative and you don't know what the future holds for you. Like you kind of like drilled that in me, and I think from then on, like I might have had some worries here and there, but it kind of stopped me from going down the wrong path of just like crying for myself and feeling sorry.
And what I was really trying to tell you is that, not saying I wasn't worried, but in like the position you were at, like right there, what you need to do was handle things one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just wake up and say, okay, today I need to get rid of this stage 4 endometriosis. And, like, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to take steps. And I feel like after that, you started taking, like, small steps. And, like, now you're taking, like, leaps and bounds. And you're figuring out all this, like, new stuff and how you can better yourself. So I feel like I was just there as, like, somebody to motivate you to help yourself, you know?
Take it one step at a time.
Exactly. And not get overwhelmed by, like, it.
Yeah.
You know, focus on like positive things rather than the negative things. Focus on how to help yourself other than what can like destroy yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that.
That's why I'm here. That's why you pay me.
So like, being in your perspective, you are my boyfriend. Like we're obviously planning on getting married.
Wait, I'm your boyfriend? Oh my god, it's the best day of my life.
Anyways, so being in your position as a significant other, what is one thing that you want all women dealing with endometriosis to know? I don't know if that's too broad of a question, but
especially for things that you don't understand, and this is in healthy relationships, because there's probably gonna be guys that would be like, oh, you're overreacting or stuff like that, but if you don't understand something and a girl understands it better than you, the best thing you can do is just be there to give her positivity. And that could come in all forms, whether you just like giving her a hug or you like just giving her a kiss or just sending her cute like messages or something like that. So if you give like her those things, then it'll make her feel comfortable to talk to you about those things. And then when she starts talking to you about those things, it makes her feel better because she has somebody to talk to about those things.
So that's really good advice for other people dealing with someone who has a chronic illness. I said, like, what would you tell women with endometriosis who might feel insecure about having the disease and maybe finding a partner? Sort of thing. You can answer that too, but I feel like that's like a good perspective, because I've already seen a lot of girls on Instagram who have endometriosis and sort of talked about relationships, but they're single. And I can kind of see like uncertainties and fears within these girls, based on they don't know how to approach it with a future boyfriend.
Well,
like, what if it scares them away? Like things like that.
Well, endometriosis, you don't have to like say that on the first date. You know? You don't have to be like, hey, I have endometriosis, just so you know.
Yeah.
Wait until you like get a feeling that this might be like somebody that I want to like bear children with in the future,
Yeah,
or I want to like be my husband or something like that. When you understand that you guys mutually like each other to the point where you guys both want the same things, then like that's when you can start having discussions about it. Not saying like he might not already know, like it's something you might bring up, but then you really start to get into it, like what does the future actually hold for us, and what steps do we both have to do together to get through it.
And I think it'll come naturally with that person if they happen to be the love of your life. I think all those steps kind of, and taking it one step at a time with them will come naturally. There is one last thing that I wanted to bring up, and basically most of my DMs were about intimacy and endometriosis. I had someone ask, does it affect intimacy? I had someone say, she said, like, how do you explain to your boyfriend that like you can't be intimate because you're in pain? And I wanted to bring these questions up because it is something that I eventually do want to talk about with, you know, my followers on Instagram or YouTube, but that's definitely something that I want to keep private. Like, whatever my decisions are to be intimate or not, that's something I don't want to be public about until like we're married. And I think that's just sort of, when you publish something on the internet, it's gonna be there forever. And you know, we're not like married yet. So it's just me being careful. But I do want to say that if you are someone who has endometriosis and you feel insecure in a relationship because, you know, you might be choosing to be intimate with this person, but you have bad feelings, you're insecure, maybe it turns into negative situations if you can't, you know, engage in that. That's just, to me, like, I'm gonna be like your older sister right now, and I'm just gonna tell you, you need to put yourself first, because there are guys out there who will respect you, who, you know, will put you first. They'll understand that endometriosis is uncontrollable. The pain you feel, you can't control. So if I could give any advice to you, just, you know, find someone who will probably be more patient than you are. Because with endometriosis, a lot of the times I'm not even patient with myself. And that's why I go to him a lot, because he kind of just brings me down, calms me down, like if I'm ever really upset. Please put yourself first. There's no reason to be, you know, giving all of yourself, literally all of yourself, to a guy who doesn't respect that. And you deserve more than that. So.
But just so you guys know, this is intimacy.
Okay, yours?
That's all you guys get, though. That's all you guys get.
You're so
Mwah.
dorky.
Mwah.
Thank you guys for watching. Please, like, leave requests if there's anything else that you want to hear, anything else you want me to talk about or him to talk about.
Or if you have any questions for me, my workout routine.
We really enjoy making videos like this because we have these conversations on our own anyways, all the time.
Just put a camera in front of us.
Yeah, just put a camera in front
That's
of
all
us.
we need.
And if you're not following my endometriosis page, give that a follow. And if you're watching this through my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more. Thank you guys. Bye.